everyone. Welcome to the Crafty Boys, where we talk about craft and drink beer and booze and stuff because we can, because we're adults and we're mature. And
well, we're adults.
I'm really selling this.
Considering you're half cut already.
Shh! Don't tell people that. That's not public knowledge. Sure, they couldn't tell. So, hi everyone, welcome to the show. We are live now, and I'm getting texts from people that are asking what time the show is at. And
it's right now.
Like, right now. Here's... So,
yeah, whenever we say it is, that's when it's at.
Exactly, it's basically...
It actually is true.
We control the horizontal and the vertical. Actually, I'm pouring. Locke, what are you drinking tonight?
So, right. I'm happy that you asked. What I'm drinking tonight is a Trappist triple. It is, in fact, recognized as being the first Trappist Belgian ale to market itself as a triple.
Okay.
So this, at least in theory, is the first recipe for a Belgian triple that was ever released to market. So Trappists, in case you're unaware, are a type of monastery, and amongst the various practices of the Trappists, one is that they brew beer. Very commonly, at least, they brew beer. And the other is that they maintain vows of silence. And so, essentially, what their practice for centuries was to refine the art of two things: when and how to shut the fuck up, and how to make great beer. So
what else do you need after that?
So yeah, I believe they were now relatively recent as a Trappist monastery. They were established, I believe, in the 19th century in 1836. There was apparently some group that was, there before that date that may or may not have been organized as a recognized monastery, but 1836 is the recognized date. About a century later, the year they introduced this beer, a man got elected in Germany. That was in 1934. He did not know how to shut the fuck up, and apparently was an abstainer. So let's see how this is.
So first of all,
we all know what happened to plucky little Belgian neck.
Locke, what does it say on the bottle? It's kind of grainy. I couldn't see the.
Oh, right. So that is fairly simple front
West
label.
Mali?
Yeah, West Mali. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think if you pronounced it in the accent, it'd be sort of like more like West Mali sort of thing. But if you were talking, not maintaining a silence. Let me see. Some. Let me see. So this is an important project brewed in Belgium. It clocks in at 9.5% alcohol per volume.
Wow.
Ingredients: water, malted barley, sugar, hops, yeast. The addition of sugar would breach the Reinheitsgebot, so it doesn't follow the Bavarian standard, and given its history, just as well. So let's give her a try here. This is not ideal glassware, but this is reasonably appropriate. I think the one that they actually use in Belgium is slightly wider open at the top, but let's give it a go. And yeah, that is good beer. Straight away, it's quenching, flavorful, and you know that it's going to be grass. There's a little bit of stickiness to the carbonation.
Nice.
Yes, cool. This is a very good beer.
So there's other kind of Trappist triples that you can get. I'm trying to think what they are.
If they are indeed triples, what they would be is Belgian. If it's a proper historic brewery, that's what they are. There are apparently people in think maybe New York or somewhere like that that are trying to something similar, but
okay.
Which I mean, the whole belt and all of that. Are you hearing it?
Yes, yeah. I am.
Is it coming from my end?
I think it's coming from my end, but I don't know because I'm the one echoing. I don't hear you.
You're not echoing now.
Huh. I don't know what to make of that.
It started up very suddenly, and then
it seems to have gone away. Yeah. Okay, let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So I've given you a little
back.
Sorry.
I thought it was back.
Is it?
Not now. It's probably going to come in and out.
Yeah, it's going to be intermittent. Yeah. It's the best kind of echo, isn't it? An intermittent.
Yeah.
That's always the best.
So anyway, I've given you a little history, and I've given you the texture of the beer. The flavor is of honey. Which is to say that the added sugar makes it slightly more like a mead.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So where did you get this? Just an LCBO?
This is an LCBO. Yep.
Okay. I'm wondering if we can find it here.
Apparently, such as we're importing beer anymore, we're importing more from Europe these days.
Yes, it's true. I'll have to have a look for that. I have had some Belgian triples before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm trying to think off the top of my head what they are. I can picture the bottle.
They might be labeled as simply as Belgian triple, or Trappist.
There's one, and I see it all the time. It's got like a picture of a monk on the label, and I can't remember what it's called. Like I want to say it was Saint Bernard's or something. Anyway, I can't remember.
Bernardist?
Yeah, maybe. But I'll have to look for that one.
Yes, this is. I'm very happy with this. This is satisfying my love of this style of beer.
Excellent.
So why don't you talk about what you're drinking?
All right. So I'm having tonight from Slow Hand Brewing, which is, where are they? They're in Vancouver, and it is their Italian Pilsner. I've already poured it. This is what it looks like. It had a little bit of a head to start, and the head's kind of going now. So it says on the tin here, Italian style Pilsner is a relatively new style of beer that's emerged in the past couple of decades. Dry and drinkable, typical of a German Pilsner, but with a light, dry hop character and often filtered. Our Italian Pilsner uses 100% imported German malted hops, but the sapphire hops added into the fermenter near the completion of fermentation gives this beer a decidedly un-German, citrusy lemongrass quality. That's an interesting write-up there, I find, because I've had a few Italian Pilsners over the past couple of years. And what I found is they kind of taste like a Pilsner with added a touch of oregano or something like that, or maybe basil.
I could see the basil more than oregano, but there is something a little greener about the overall profile. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's what it is. It's just got a bit of a hoppy profile, and I really enjoy it. Italian Pilsners for me right now are where it's at. This is a great beer.
Here's a question: Are basil or oregano? Actually, I think oregano might be. Are they related to the same family, the same as cannabis and other resinous?
I have no idea. Shane, look it up.
I don't know. What am I looking up?
If basil or oregano are related to the marijuana plant.
Yeah, I think basil's the wrong shape of leaf, but I feel like oregano might actually have some family characteristics with both hops and cannabis. No? I know hops and cannabis are related, but
I am
Yes.
investigating. One moment, please. If you don't get an answer soon, dial your operator. Please stand by.
And we have a comment from Rascal,
okay,
who's up to no good, by the way.
all right.
Yes, boys, I'm so drunk right now.
Nice.
Rascal, I feel you.
Rock on.
Oh, my nuts. Okay, so what I'm coming up with in my Google search, aside from coughing,
And hurting your balls.
basil and oregano belong to the mint family, while hops and cannabis are members of the hemp family. This means that hops and cannabis are more closely related to each other, whereas basil and oregano are completely different in a completely different botanical group. So there you are.
And actually, that tracks. They do kind of have like this kind of like the same kind of like flavor as
Yeah. I think basil oil has it's got that same cooling quality, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, this Italian Pilsner, whether it's got it doesn't have anything in it but hops.
Okay,
It's fantastic.
Does it say anything about which hops? I mean, they've evidently
Yeah.
a little about the malt.
It said here. Sapphire. hops.
Oh, I see. Right, the sapphire hops. Right, and that's what kicks it into the.
It gives us sort of like a citrusy lemongrass.
Okay, yeah, and that's where that. So now, okay, lemongrass. What's lemongrass related to? Is lemongrass related to mint at all?
I'm gonna say no, but I don't know.
All right, lemongrass. Apparently, lemongrass is a member, which is a grass. Despite its citrusy aroma and flavor, it is botanically more related to grasses like wheat, rice, and corn, other than citrus fruits like lemon.
So lemongrass is actually kind of more like barley.
There you go. We should create a beer made from lemongrass. Wow, don't anyone just jump at the opportunity to discuss this opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, well, right, yeah.
What did I just say?
Now, here's the thing. I actually think I've reviewed one on this show.
Really?
I believe.
Do you remember what it was called?
A brew pub that I used to attend, called. Something like
Where?
Lucifer's or something like that.
Is that the owner's name?
No. It was like Lucifer, but like the picture on the logo looked like Lucifer. But they had, I believe, they had a lemongrass IPA with lemongrass in it.
Huh.
That's
kind of cool.
I am going to see if I can find it.
They are out of business now, is the sad truth. Or at least the one that was on the Danforth is. I don't know if they had any other shops. So.
Okay.
Oh wow. Yeah, like right now, I'm not somebody who gets drunk very much because I have a relatively large body and relatively high alcohol content. What is
Did you
it?
say alcohol content? By the way, I found
No, I mean,
Easy
by which
Tiger.
like tolerance.
Silly
as
Sir Co.
as you can tell, this thing has knocked me on my ass. This is what I richly want a beer to do for me, and I'm well served by this beer.
Well, my beer is only 5%, so I'll be the designated driver tonight.
Do you remember Silly Sir Brewing Co?
Silly what? No. What?
Silly Sir. I'm just asking.
How's it spelled?
Silly, as in SILLYSIR.
Silly Sir is a what?
They had a beer that I have a record of for some reason. Called. Of course, now where's the bloody window? They're from Toronto. They are out of business. And oh, come on. I think I just closed the window. Silly Sir Brewing Co. created a lemongrass wheat ale.
Oh,
and you know what? Silly Sir rhymes with Lucifer. It does.
I'm just asking if that's the name. If it's not the name, then there you go.
No. It was not called Silly Sir. It was called.
No. The beer was not called Silly Sir. That was the Brewing Co. The beer was called Easy Tiger Lemongrass Ale.
Yeah, no. The brewery wasn't called Silly Sir either.
That's why I was just asking if that was the one. But if not, then
I guess I need to now.
The search goes on.
Apparently, I need to now know who Silly Sir are, and they're in Toronto, are they?
Not anymore. They're gone.
Oh, okay. When did they die?
That I don't know. 1955. Oh no, wait. There's So they are. This is interesting. Okay, so they're actually not. Okay, I read one thing that said they were out of business. However, if you go to their website, it says we take beer very seriously, and we don't. Question: where the heck are you these days? Answer: oh, we're still around in the background. Question: why aren't you selling beer anymore? Answer: contract brewing isn't our favorite thing to do. We'll be back with a vengeance in the next few years once we've grown enough capital to truly deliver something special. We promise. Burp.
Which tells me that they're not going to be back.
Well, it's...
So it looks like they were... Oh, okay. Okay. So according to this, Silly Sir Brewing Co. was a brand that they created because they were home brewers. They decided to play business, and then that became an actual business as they evolved into a brewery and settled into their passion projects. The crystal ball shows an innovative brew pub in the not-so-distant future. We are largely inspired by our travels and believe the world could use more connection, blah, blah, blah. part of our mission is to diversify the craft beer scene in Ontario by blending essential flavors from around the world. We're really proud of our very first release, Easy Tiger, which was the lemongrass one, which is an American-style wheat beer cold steeped with lemongrass. We certainly hope that you loved drinking it as much as we loved brewing it. And it looks like it's just two people that started a brewery, fell, I guess, into contract brewing.
Right.
Whatever.
No. I imagine that's like gypsy brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
Gypsy
So
brewing.
basically, they started in 2018, and then they started the Easy Tiger Lemongrass Ale in 2018, brewed it until September of 2019, moved on to a beer called Sun Bear Blonde with tea and honey.
Sorry, what year?
I'm about to tell you. In June of 2019, they brewed it until 2020, and I suspect we can all guess what happened after that. So they basically looks like they stopped brewing in August of 2020. My assumption is because of the pandemic. So there you go.
But the timeline is close enough that I kind of think that what they were probably doing was they were probably picking a name that was close enough to the Louis Siffer lemongrass IPA that there'd be some sort of like crossover marketing, if you see what I mean, like people.
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair strategy. Everybody uses it nowadays. I think I'm untroubled by it. But yeah, no. Well, that's interesting. Well, I hope they succeed in their mission. It sounds like they're interested in good beer and want to do more of it. And I like the idea based on the discussion we had earlier about the different plants. That they paired it with a wit beer. That's a cool idea.
That's actually that's a good choice.
Yeah, solid.
Shane, what are you drinking, my friend? I cannot divulge that information at this time. All right. So, in all honesty, I went out drinking before the show, and I came home. A friend of the show was supposed to provide me with additional beer because apparently he got some for me. But he decided to keep drinking. So I am here at home without any cold beer. I had to put some in the fridge. It's just not cold. So I thought, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do this thing here. This is Spicebox Pumpkin Whiskey. It is a whiskey that my...
Is that craft whiskey?
Spouse, it is, yes, it is craft.
Then it fits. It fits.
So my sadly departed spouse, this was her favorite whiskey, so she would buy it on a regular basis, and it's very sweet. It kind of tastes like a spiced latte, I guess, a pumpkin spice latte kind of thing, but
with a kick.
With a bit of a kick. Yes, I think it is running at a alcohol by volume level of 35%. To give you a bit of history about Spicebox. So here you are. So Spicebox was inspired by crafty Canadian bootleggers who smuggled contraband cargo across the border in wooden spice barrels. So think pumpkin pie in a glass, which is actually very true, kind of what it tastes like. With a warm, smooth finish of rye whiskey in your kisser. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Grab this beauty while you can. Like an underground speakeasy during Prohibition, this is not a permanent fixture, which is a lie because I've seen this on the shelves for a number of years. Our pumpkin spice rye whiskey, possibly, is just around for the holidays. Liars. Actually, okay, wait a second. That's actually true. This appears around Halloween and sticks around till like February. So, um, anyway, long story short, who cares? Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
You know, at some point, here's the thing. We've chewed the subject to death in some ways. It's possible that we may need to graduate to a follow-on program where we discuss craft liquor.
So the crafty, the whiskey
Crafty
boys.
I think what we would call it.
Crafty boy. I mean, it doesn't mean beer necessarily. It just
Crafty boys. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I would agree with that because we did keep it somewhat generic.
We could call it the craft boys, couldn't we?
And I will say this. Craft spirits are like huge right now. Craft beer is kind of waning, but craft spirits like Driftwood is doing craft spirits. I don't know all that much about them. There's that place down the road from me. What's it called? That's doing whiskey.
Twa Dogs.
Yeah.
Twa
Dogs.
Which I went there. I guess it was the week before last, and went there, and it was the beer is fine. Twa Dogs is never disappointed, but the primary focus of their location is the distillery, which has a different name. It's like McConey's or something like that, but.
I think McCallany.
That's way closer than what I said.
They're actually in some hot water because.
I agree. I apologize. Pumpkin spice anything, but sadly, suck it up.
It's very basic. You need to be wearing Lululemons and drive around in like some Cadillac or something. And have
that is very, very true.
Those Stanley Cups, not the kind that you win when.
Sorry, you've lost me. What are we doing?
Sorry.
There was a comment from a Seahawks fan who we all know and love, Todd, and he is poo-pooing my pumpkin spice whiskey. So,
yeah. But anyway, back to I don't even know if I'm saying it right. McColonies or whatever.
Something like that. Anyway, when I was there, I was trying to pronounce it and I couldn't.
Anyway, so apparently that is the name of a type of whiskey that's made in Scotland. And apparently you can't use that name whiskey unless it's made in Scotland, and theirs isn't. It just happens to be the guy's last name.
But this isn't the first time we've encountered this. Yeah, I mean it's like Budweiser.
No.
You were Budweiser in Czechoslovakia for a century before Budweiser in America, but right? Anyway. Well, yeah. I mean, no. Macallan's are like.
I guess the thing is, if we're going to be trying a different whiskey, that's going to get kind of expensive. I mean, you can buy a can of beer for like a few
Whoa. We're talking spirits. It doesn't have to be.
Oh, that's true. It
doesn't have to be single malt whiskey.
True.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
It could be. Actually, it's funny.
Check out bars, I guess, sort of where I'm at. Yeah, like Shane's doing it, and I'll be honest. Earlier this evening, I was preferring a little bit of tequila and soda over beer. It's better for my waistline.
Well, it's funny you say that because the other day I was looking, because I have a device in order to make such things. I actually found a potato vodka process that I can actually utilize to make fairly cheap vodka for my still. So, but the reason it caught my attention was that it wasn't talking about any fancy potatoes. It just said, look, you want to make some vodka? go to your grocery store, buy a 10-pound bag or 20-pound bag of russet potatoes or yellow potatoes or red, what are those ones are called? I've forgotten the name of them. Um, but uh, but yeah, the guy was like, you can totally do this with any type of potato.
As we drift into the subject of spirits here,
Yes.
There's a part of me that favors grain vodka simply politically because that's sort of what the Swedes do. But your Russian potato vodka, I've got to tell you, I think it might be a superior product. It's the same difference as whether you're making rum out of molasses or out of demerara.
Maybe.
Well, I got to say that it is
All right,
something that I am willing to try.
Let's discuss this further. We're still on beer.
Sorry?
We'll discuss this further, but right now we're still on beer.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I agree.
So I got a question. If you're, because I have absolutely no idea the process. If you're making vodka potatoes, do you have to peel the potatoes? Because that would be a pain in the ass.
That is a very good question. I imagine.
I would think you would have to.
I would think so, but again, it depends because
Happy about this or not? Because if it makes a difference, we'd like to know what the difference is, wouldn't we?
Mm.
yeah, where does the flavor come from? Is it entirely the internal part of it?
Ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Julian says no need to peel.
Yeah.
No, he's actually. Oh, here we go. No need to peel. All right, cool. Then that's what we should do
But
because nobody makes vodka from potatoes. It's a pain in the bum. Challenge accepted. I kept Shane sober for the show. You're welcome. Yeah, that's not as well as you would think. I've lost my train of thought. So, Locke, take over.
Right. So let's reflect a little on the state of the music scene. Okay. So right now, it seems like retro 80s is a pretty big deal. When I was in England, and this we're talking 2018, the kids there were doing retro 90s already. Now, it seems like, and I just make this as a general comment, whether we're talking about geopolitics or fashion, because apparently shoulder pads are back in. So I'm told. It's all a bit retro 80s, isn't it? I like retro 80s. I'll be honest with you. Guilty as charged. I am a Gen Xer. I fucking like me some retro 80s. I think it's just an aberration that the world turned its back on the 80s, even though I hated it when I was there. How's that for Stockholm Syndrome?
I'm trying to understand if I hated the 80s. Did I ever hate the 80s? I mean, AC/DC on the 22nd, that is all. Yeah, thank you. There's no flavor in vodka.
I gotta agree with that.
Sure.
But I would say that I think I enjoyed the 80s more than I did the 90s. Mainly because I think I was just younger and I had a lot more time just to basically fuck around. I think that we all have that, but if you're talking about the 80s purely from a cultural, a stylistic, or that sort of eyeball.
I remember in the 80s going, thank God everybody finally understands that um, the 70s were fucked. You know what I mean? Like, or at least the 60s were fucked.
And of course, now I'm thinking about that scene from Dazed and Confused, where it's like, I mean, obviously the 60s ruled. And I mean, look, the 70s, they obviously suck. The 80s are going to be awesome. So yeah, maybe that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's the thing. There were different 80s, weren't there? I mean,
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if you think about it, we went from the beginning of the 80s where disco was still a thing till the end of the 80s where we had like the Pixies and Nirvana. Like that's a huge jump in just 10 years to go from the height of disco to the beginnings of the grunge.
The churn was crazy at the time culturally. Yeah, no, and I still feel like Expo 86 might have been the high water mark of civilization, full stop, period.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, quite seriously, in terms of an actually forward-looking, it was the last time the future really sounded like somewhere we wanted to go. Since then, it's been it's gotten dimmer, hasn't it? Steadily fucking dimmer.
Sure, for a number of different reasons, but
many. But yes, and multiplying by day.
I think every decade, the music from every decade had its positives. Like, I was okay with the 80s. I thought it was all right.
Julian.
And then when the grunge scene hit, yes, with Nirvana, but Pearl Jam and
Nothing
and
matters in music since
I was
1976.
all over it. Like, I was like anything from the 80s. Like, I was actually a big Metallica fan in the 80s.
I will admit, 80s Metallica, and to be fair, I was more of a Cliff Burton fan than a Metallica fan.
Sure.
Hey, but
I think everybody was.
Yeah.
You know, but that that went as it did. But let's just say at the end of the 80s, when I got a CD player and I went to go and get everything that I had already bought on cassette tape onto a CD, I didn't do that with my Metallica collection. I never bought a Metallica CD. Why? Because my tastes had changed and I was suddenly getting all the grunge stuff all the grunge that I could get my hands on. I loved that stuff.
There was an intermediate period which I preferred, which was sort of like when it was like Faith No More's first album and like where styles were mixing and changing, and it was clear that there was exciting stuff going on. The reason grunge got settled on, in my view, is that it was less expensive to produce.
Sure. But I mean,
like, if there were two trends that by the end of the 90s I was fully sick of, one of them was bands who are famous because they don't play their instruments very well, and bands that are famous because they're not bands, they're just sampling other people's music.
Right.
But we're about to enter the same thing, aren't we? Because look at what AI is going to do to the landscape. Would I want any of that in my playlist? I'll be honest with you. If it's catchy enough, I'll put up with it. I just assume not know in some ways, the making of the sausage and all of that. There's some kinds of music where it's more appropriate than others, but at the end of the day, no, I don't want any of that in my life. Like the whole point of music to me is it's people expressing stuff to each other. If that channel's gummed up by too much robo crap, generated for rent-seeking purposes,
I'll be honest here. Full disclosure, I don't listen. I haven't listened to any new music in probably 10 years. I have no idea what's out there right now.
What's amazing about what's out there right now is if you actually go out and check out what's going on in your local communities, you're going to find that there's a bunch of Gen Zers who are showing up better than I would have thought, and really committing themselves to doing things for real instead of virtually, right?
Right.
Well, I'm kind of with you, Alan, about the it's probably been longer for me because I know that I don't necessarily listen to contemporary music now. What is this? Grunge was a celebration of your formative years during our recession. I'm ignoring that comment, but
was the last
yeah,
or was it a failure of the system?
No, sorry.
During a recession buffering. Did he write that, or
I'm curious if his crappy phone
or
did
is
that to
the
him.
machine buffering? I don't. I can't tell.
Most people don't listen to new music after the age of 30. I mean, that is entirely fair.
It's totally true.
Yeah, which is just more evidence that I'm not most people.
Actually, for me, I would say it was over the age of 40.
Yeah, okay.
And then after that, I stopped being interested in new music.
Some content from British Columbia that I will share with everybody right now because it sounds good. Sticky Buds, Crooked Politicians is the title. Is the title of the track. Sticky Buds, Crooked Politicians from Nelson, BC.
Okay.
For Sticky Buds, Crooked Politicians. Thank you.
Actually, I'm going to backtrack and say that I do listen to some contemporary music. There is a band that I'm into. They're not really new. They've been around for like a decade or more. Their name is Krongbin. And they sort of like do, I'm assuming that some of you guys, like Locke, you'd be familiar with them.
Krongbin? No, I have no idea.
They're a trio out of Dallas. And they do sort of like bluesy world music. A lot of it's instrumental.
It sounds like something I would enjoy. Like what style of music is this?
So it's sort of like a bluesy. It's a guitar player, a bassist, and a drummer. But everything is sort of like low. It's like it's very ambient. There's a lot of ambience there with
it. Oh dear. Like, are we talking like sort of? Is it sort of like super like Chris Isaac, where it's like?
Yeah, maybe, but there's very few lyrics in it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a blessing nowadays.
Yeah, I really enjoy them, like just to have them on in the background.
Okay.
Actually, one of their songs was featured in a Corona commercial.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the Corona commercials, but
no.
Can't say that I am, but
no. I highly suggest looking them up, and I kind of like. Oh God, what songs do I like? Well, they have quite a few, but look them up. Kruangbin.
Okay, yeah, that's creative.
Sorry, spell that one more time.
Krua.
This is like a password.
Oh, musical trio. Oh, okay, all right.
Kruangbin.
They look like the Black Eyed Peas.
Huh?
In just a different way.
No, they're nothing like the Black Eyed Peas.
I'm just saying some of the photography that I've seen of them so far.
Oh, okay. So yeah, those guys are good, but aside from them, I am not really into anything. And just to drive the point home, I don't know if you guys watched the SNL 50th special that was on. It opened with Paul Simon, and Paul Simon said, I'm going to play this song. I don't remember what the song was. He goes, I'm going to play this song. I played it on this stage as a duet with somebody else in 1976. And the person that he had next to him, I had no idea who she was. Some young blonde woman. And she said, in 1976, I wasn't alive. And neither were my parents. And I had no idea who it was. I was talking to some people at work. And I said, yeah, some nothing blonde chick was next to Paul Simon. Well, apparently her name is Sabrina Carpenter, and everybody knows who she is. I had no idea.
The hell is Sabrina Carpenter?
I have no idea. I still don't. It's just that she's famous. And she's probably half of our age. It has no more than us. She's way more successful.
Sabrina Carpenter. She's blonde. She's 25. She's from Pennsylvania. She is the niece of Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart.
Oh, really?
Other than that, I couldn't tell you what her music sounds like.
No idea.
I kind of feel like she's either a pop artist or maybe she's
Must be a pop artist.
Kind of a Aretha Franklin kind of voice, Etta James maybe. But she's 25, so I mean she's really young, so possibly not. I couldn't tell you. But it looks like her career kind of started in 2015.
That means she started when she was 15?
Apparently. So my assumption is she must be very talented, just maybe a prodigy kind of level person.
Mm.
Yes, exactly. She's blonde at 25. That's enough. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, maybe I've heard her music. I couldn't identify it. And I'm going to tell you right now, Julian One Planet. Yes, I now know who Katy Perry is, and I'm sorry that a few years ago I had no clue who she... Sorry, I knew of her, but I could not identify any music that she had done. And Julian One Planet started singing some of her tunes for me in order to identify if I had heard them or not, and I had not.
It sounds like a disease. Please stop now along this. I don't want any further exposure to any of this.
But there you go. So yes, it was definitely embarrassing. I mean, hey, but now I can tell you that the Sticky Buds have been around for a few years, and I'm going to check them out because it sounds cool.
Mm.
I'll check them out as well.
Yeah.
And a report back next week.
Yes, report back with a full report.
And you guys
I
too.
knew I started something.
And tell me what you think.
Roar! Shut up. That Roar was a reference to, I guess, a song. Is the song called Roar? I don't actually know, but she did it at some football event in the States called the Super Bowl.
I while we're on the topic here, I want to ask you guys, am I the only one? I just want to make sure I'm not alone here, that I have no idea what songs Taylor Swift sings.
That's okay. Just find out which one's quicker. What's it?
Sticky Buns?
Sticky Buds.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I don't care about Taylor Swift, but apparently she was this big thing and her tour was like the biggest thing since ever, and I have absolutely no
Do you know about the massively popular what is he, Kazakhstan guy who's got like this crazy vocal range?
Sorry, say that again.
You're gonna have to be more specific. I've said a lot of shit in the last 15 minutes that it took you to type that.
The guy from Kazakhstan?
Dude from Kazakhstan. I can't remember his name. I can look it up if you need me to. But yeah, no. Like he's like got super crazy vocal range, and he's like massively famous everywhere except fucking the U.S. And I guess probably North. Well, but
Dimash
that's
Quadri
Dimash, motherfucker. Yeah.
There you go. I've never heard of this guy, but he does look. I mean, it's basically.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. That's not true.
The world.
I think.
Like people are like excited about Dimash. Yeah.
I think I saw him perform. That was a YouTube video that my sister. Borat. That's exactly what I was going to ask. But no, my sister, I think, shared a video with me from YouTube of him.
For sure. Yeah.
But he was, he's 30 now, but I think he was at least 10 years younger. He might have been a late teen in the video that I watched. So yeah, but if that's the guy that you're talking about, hella talented. Yeah, it was wow.
Yeah,
it was one of those moments. So.
Down the hatch.
So yeah, I gotta say I really need to expand my contemporary music knowledge. However, the stuff I think that you see getting radio play quite often is
it's manufactured. It's not
terrible.
art.
So I think now, boys, it is the time for us to buckle down and bring 20D to life. A Dungeons and Dragons themed EDM extravaganza. We'll all wear masks.
Yeah.
And
Look, I've got a track right now that I'm trying out on another project, but you know what? Like I've got something that might fit this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, would have put on masks, like Dead Mouse recommends.
Oh, well, yeah, it's one off.
Sure. Like Cybertronic Spree,
yeah, kind of like them too. Maybe not quite as dressed up, but yeah, I think it would be I think it would sell. I think it would definitely become a hit that we could then have our own a musical line of toys. Which, by the way, speaking of toys, music, and the like, did anyone notice that there's a new Tron film coming out?
Yes.
And the trailer dropped the other day?
I didn't see the trailer, but I have seen like some.
Oh, well. It's a trailer, so we can play it on our channel because it's promoting a property. But basically, it sounds like it is a, how shall I say, the world of Tron enters the real world, if that makes any sense. So here we are.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Here you go. Wait, let me just turn it up here. There you go.
120 miles per hour. Last seen heading northbound.
Unit 12, acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
God.
I'm looking for something.
Fake.
Something I do not understand.
One of the first fucking movies, asshole. Oh,
It's because it's alive.
Ready? Because there's no going back.
Yeah, the best part about that trailer is Locke's reaction. Locke,
Yes.
go. All I heard was like something assholes.
What a piece of shit.
Well, I give this to them that they went where we would all expect, where the digital world entered into the real world. But
No.
I'm sorry, Jared Leto.
Hold on. What this is mirroring is that new Apple series that's supposed to be making fun of Hollywood, but which The Economist rightly called out as being Hollywood attempting to make fun of itself badly because of the same sins that they're making fun of.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: you got to remember that the world of cinema has been irreparably damaged because of the pandemic, where audiences have not really gone back to the theater, and
It was
combine
dying
that
before
with
the pandemic.
well, I know, yeah, combine that with the accelerated death of the
Who the fuck can afford to watch something about nothing at fucking all?
Well, this
in
is
the
my
face
point.
of somebody's fucking with your life right now. Ha ha.
Yeah, but you got to remember
It lost
that
its value.
these companies, because they can't make money in the back end after the first few weeks of a film release in theaters, especially now, they are not going to make new things. They're going to dig and mine things that worked in the past. I don't know if the second Tron film actually work. I don't know if it was a success or not.
Which is self-harming and counterproductive to the degree that you expect to have an audience.
Oh, I am not complaining. I'm agreeing with you.
The second Tron movie, I actually really liked for what it was. I enjoyed it. At the end of it,
No, the second Tron movie was fine, but they weren't trying to do something which everybody with any fucking brain cell alive knows is possible. Fuck.
Well, no, I'm going to say this. At the end of the second Tron movie, the chick in it, Cora, who's played by
it blows the whole fucking
just a second.
franchise.
The character who was a digital character did leave the digital world into the real world.
Oh, that's right.
I can't remember.
It was played by 13.
But yeah, we agree. But this is the sin that was committed when instead of doing a movie about dinosaurs, we were doing a movie about Frankenstein's made using the DNA of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh, but now we're actually getting a new movie called Jurassic Park Rebirth that comes out this year.
Because we need a rebirth of it, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's had 6 movies. They needed a 7th.
Look. The problem is the only thing that's going to hold anybody's attention span legitimately is a good story. And when you have a good story, it will hold an attention span like nobody's business, even at times when it shouldn't.
But they
Rhetoric
don't
is
want
powerful.
to try.
Rhetoric can destroy nations. But
Well,
when
look at Snow
when
White.
you change your mind every 15 seconds because of procedure, and you can't make up your mind about anything, and so you get this indeterminate blob of rent seeking. We want you to pay us. Why don't you pay us for the obvious the effort we put in? We put so much effort in.
I agree. That was the best rant ever.
Totally.
And I agree. I mean, there's all these things like Snow White. After all of the is said and done for marketing, it's going to be like a $400 million film, and it's made like 40 or 50 million, I think, so far. And they know bloody well that that's not going to recoup its
What I've
cost.
heard is that somebody in Hollywood wants to remake the Back to the Future trilogy, but they can't because they own they can't get the rights to the name. So what they're going to do is remake it, but with a different name, and different characters and everything.
So
but it's going to be essentially be the same story.
Look, that's sort of legitimate because that's the sort of thing that Shakespeare was also guilty of. But constantly rehashing the same title, hoping the title will get you there, even if the content is shit, is a different game and not one that I approve of.
You know what?
I agree.
You know what? I've always said this. If you want to get people in the theaters, put out a new Star Wars movie. And I said that people would pay top dollar to watch a Star Wars movie, even if it was just Yoda taking a crap for 2 hours.
Look, but bottom line, I would never watch that. And if there's a single thing that George Lucas should do before he dies, it's make up an entirely new movie that has nothing to do with any of his other fucking movies. Whole new universe. Because universe creation, I'm sorry, we're at a dearth of options. And when everybody's just feeding the same shit, fuck's sake.
I'm sorry, I'm still on the trying to figure out how 2 hours can be stretched out with Yoda going to the can. That would be a masterpiece of filmmaking. If someone could actually pull off Yoda going to the can for a 2 hour stretch in one shot. Yeah. No cuts, no nothing.
See that I find
and make it interesting.
In a previous episode, I've been cornered on the subject of whether or not I'm the sort of guy that laughs at fart jokes. I don't laugh at fart jokes. I laugh at shit jokes.
Yoda poop 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 poop. Alan. And then in Jurassic Park 3.
Steve, maybe Steve.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck. Why am I?
But I agree. I think
I've traveled
a lot about creativity in a commercial sense. I don't want to say that creativity everywhere is, but when you have $1 bazillion behind you, you become very fearful about not losing it. So creativity I'll target Hollywood. I can't say for any other
apology of that. The fear of losing $1 billion behind you. No. This used to be a business. There used to be people looking for
this is my point.
And they were chasing it. That's what's wrong with what's going on right now.
That's basically what I'm saying, yeah.
Behind asking and people desperate to please because they want the money, but they're not looking forward to the consumers who buy this shit. That is the sign of a propaganda machine. That's not the sign of a healthy fucking film studio system. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell no. I agree. Like, no, there's no way. But it is, I'm just saying that I understand, but at the same time, the creativity that's bankrupt, not the money, but the fact that no one is brave enough to do anything about it, is sad. It's very, very sad.
Nerve is a scarce commodity nowadays, and that's because it's being systematically fractured by constant badgering, constant irritation, constant interruption. It is the digisphere. You want to fucking get out of it? It means going sober on digital for a little while, and whether you're calling it raw dogging it or whatever the fuck, look, I've just always been that way. As somebody that grew up with computers, I like them when they do what I tell them, not when they tell me what to do. But if you grew up in an age where computers were already more or less running your life, get the fuck away for a little while and take a fucking look around, see what maybe your options really are. No, but it's not like you're saying that's not appropriate right now, Shane. Like, you think it's funny? I mean, like, I'm serious. I really think people need to take a look at that
right now. So
No. I'm agreeing entirely with what you're saying. But let me back up a second though. You use the phrase raw dogging.
Raw dogging, yeah. No.
No. Hang on.
Agreed.
Yesterday, I read an article of the actor Patrick Warburton.
I'm sorry for using the term, but it's
no. Hang on. So, apparently, last year there was a trend of people raw dogging long flights, and what this means is it's a reference to him in an episode of Seinfeld many years ago, where he refused to read, sleep, watch films, or anything on a long haul flight. And the phrase in the episode was raw dogging. And apparently people have rediscovered this, and now there's people taking films of themselves and photographs and documenting themselves raw dogging a flight, where they just sit and stare at the back of the seat in front of them. That's the only reason. That was the only reason I was laughing. It was just, you used that phrase, and I just remembered reading the article yesterday. So there you go. That was all it. That was it.
And me and my ignorance thought it was a reference to the film Raw Dogs, but okay.
No, it was not, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I wish it had been.
I didn't know. You know how it is.
Well, that's why I'm telling you, because it was funny when I read it, and you just brought it up again, and it's funny again. Or brought up the word that triggered the memory from yesterday. Anyway, boys and girls, it is late where Locke is, and it is getting late for us. So it is time for all of us to go to bed, because we're old, and we're going to drink some more beer next week, and I'll make sure to have some. And we'll see you all then. Chat later, boys and girls. Boys and girls, what the hell? Bye.